All right, guys. So, if you follow me, you know that my swimming upbringing is extremely different than most. I was socialized through basketball. That's why my online persona tends to be a lot more aggressive and demeaning isn't the right word, but vicious, I guess, because that's how it is in basketball. You know, you mess up, you're on the bench, right? Especially if you're a freshman. Like, there's times I messed up, I was on the bench. There's times I got 3 blocks in a row. High school seniors in a rival game. All right, and the high school I was supposed to go to that I didn't go to, went to a different high school. Shout out to Round Rock High School. 3 blocks in a row against their best player, D. Proby. Next time down the floor, on the bench, right? So there's like some things that will never make sense to me. We're going to talk about 2 of them. And Image is the second one. I didn't watch the video. Probably should have, but they probably should have picked a thumbnail better. So the first one is Ledecky's world record, right? So I understand in swimming, there's plateaus happen all the time, right? And that's usually when athletes change locations. But as a hooper, that's not how it is, right? If you're plateauing, you're not working smart the right way, or you're not working hard the smart way, or the correct way, whatever you want to say. There's something wrong with your drills. There's something wrong with your equation that's keeping you from getting success, right? And say shooting, right? If you want to be a 40% three-point shooter, you need to make 800 of 1,000 shots because you half what you make, okay? 800, which means you only get 200 misses, okay? That's not a very common thing. And when you look at shooting percentages, people are on these like 35% because they're professionals, so they can shoot, but you only got to make 600. You have to make a little over half. You see what I mean? So, like, I understand for girls it's different because of their genetics and their hormones, but it just doesn't make sense to me how the world is reacting to this. Like she's like a has-been. Like that's the word. They're treating Ledecky like she's a has-been, and she's not. Right? They're treating her times, maybe that's a better phrase, like her times are a has-been. And to me, it's like that's not how, like in hooping, I'm going to say hooping, but obviously I mean my mentality around swimming. That's not how hooping works. If you're not dropping time, like, or getting faster or getting to where you be, you're not working smarter. Okay? You're doing something wrong. All right? And I'm not talking about training because, let me be real with you, since I've discovered how to pull correctly, like all training is pretty much the same. Like that's another story for another time. But like something about how you're moving through the water, your equation's messed up. All right? And I have my own things. I may not even be her stroke. Well, I don't think the solution was her stroke. One of my followers sent me a video of her flip turns. She's starting to look like an athlete out there. You know, Dressel doesn't have an athletic turn. A lot of swimmers don't. Adrian, I'd say Olympic team, I at least, the ones I've seen, they don't. I think Phelps is pretty close. It's been a while since I looked at these 2. And I had to remember somebody was like, because I said I think it's a black thing. And let's talk about that real quick. And I got to remember, we're talking about Ledecky and her flip turn. The reason why I say it's a black thing is you could give somebody the same information about flip turns. Nobody taught me this fold and snap flip turn, okay? But I got the same information everybody else on my team did. But I'm doing this turn that gives me the best turns in college. I'll say the world. I know that. Just people ain't playing sports like that anymore, or definitely weren't back then. Shout out to Ryan. We used to go hoop together. But like you give everybody the same turn information, but the black athletes are interpreting it one way predominantly, and the white athletes are predominantly interpreting it another way. You know, that's a racial difference. So if you guys want to cry about that, I'm just gonna block you. You know, ain't no warning. It's just, you know the law, you break the law, boom. But yeah, looking at her turns, I think a lot of people mistake it for just having your feet higher. It's not that at all. Okay, and the way the guy sent it to me, the first video, I thought he was saying that was a good turn. I was like, no, she's still spinning. And I saw the second video, it got sent to me backwards. The second video, you could see her change direction and then snap instead of spinning, and turn looked amazing. Like, and I was like, oh damn, that might, because it saves energy, because you're not having to do deep squats every time you push off the wall, right? And a lot of athletes interpret it as the turn as easier. Like I'll ask them, like, did that feel easier? And they're like, yeah. And they say they don't like it because easier Like, think about it. If you're in the weight room and it's easy, that means you ain't moving anything heavy. It means you ain't making power, right? So they interpret work or the lack of work for ease. And all you're doing is you're making your body into a more rigid structure so your speed refracts off a lot quicker. You know, the way I explain it to my kids is if you've ever locked your elbows on a turn and you hit with your elbows locked out and you kind of bounced off and had to like do a turn in the middle of the pool that looks weird and then you kick your feet out to the wall and miss the wall. Yeah, because you were a rigid structure and it hit and you bounced off, right? So, yeah, turns look amazing. But anyway, like it's things like that, right? Like it's not that your training isn't, I mean, it can be. Like if you're a distance swimmer, you need to be, or if you're a sprinter and you're doing the distance set at this team, you might need to move, right? If they want to move you down. But in her case, she was a distance swimmer, moved to swim more distance. And, you know, at least on the male side, the athletic peak is like 29 to 31, right? Especially that's when your brain is at its development is at its strongest and your reasoning is at its strongest. You know, it keeps getting better, but then your athleticism starts to fall off a cliff. Right, so your athleticism and your brain, you know, the athleticism starts to, you know, hollow out, and then boom, and then falls off a cliff. But you keep getting, you know, becoming a more intellectually sound human being. So yeah, as a guy, your athletic peak is like 28, 31. Girls, I think it's a little, not I think it might be different. I don't know. I'm not a girl, and I never studied that side. If I got into coaching, never mind, let's not even say that. Nothing bad. It's just not a rabbit hole I need to go down or tangent. But yeah, it's like, how do you treat Katie like that? Like, there's nothing wrong with her. She gonna go faster. She can go a lot faster. If y'all who is homies with her, tell her to hit up. You're right, I'm right there. DM. Oh, gracious one, Dax Hill, please help me. But yeah, like people tripping. Like, stop treating her like she's some hasbeen. She all right. She just wasn't training. Or training hard on the right things, and she still hasn't even worked on her stroke, right? So big shout out to Ledecky. You want the secrets, holla at your boy. All right, so the second thing, this is also a different thing. So in a way, you are seeing kind of like the Hooper mentality looking at swimming. Not in a way, that's exactly what you're looking at. So this caption, right? After a record-breaking weekend, I need to find new motivation. Now, it's obviously clickbait meant to solicit a response. They're about to get that response. Like I said, I did not watch the video, but I do want to talk about this. And this, I think, it even leads into a lot of the imposter syndrome and the depression that goes on in the sport and definitely once sports ends for all sports. And like I said, I just got short little quote, 6 words. That's what we're running with. Your vision, your motivator. Yeah, see, it's a mindset. Like, I would never say motivator. Excuse me. I have a vision, like the end of my life. Like, this is what they're going to say about Dax Hill, right? And I think this, even to a degree, could apply to Ledecky a little bit. I don't know her. I've never talked to her, so I might be wrong. Probably am. But when I look at this, like what I'm doing with Rakely, right, I have a vision of what people are going to say about it, what the output is going to be, what the impact it's going to have on the world, what it's going to have on college recruiting, what it's going to have on basketballifying, swimming, how it's going to change training to singles. Yeah. When training becomes singles, you'll know I have made my mark for everybody. Distance swimmers, I'm talking about you come in, swim for an hour, hour and a half, and you out of there. That's when you will know I have taken over. Anyway, and at the top levels, not everybody, I'm talking about the top NCAA world-class level. When those people are dominating, the singles, Rakely was here. But I'm getting on my tangent. I need to find new motivation. Like, that sounds to me like you met the end of something. Right? And for my vision, like, there's no end. Like, even when I get to the vision, like, it's now just bigger. Do it bigger. And me, I need new motivation. It's like, man, I swam this whole time to get this, and now I have it. What's next? Now, like I said, this could have just been her motivation for the year, and now she has it, and now she needs a new goal, right? Whatever. But if word choice matters, like, you can tell a lot how people think based on their word choice. And it's a little bit more advanced of a skill to develop. If you think you know, you don't. But just the word motivation, right? It's, okay, here's what I'm thinking. If the world record was your motivation, why was that in motivation? Why wasn't that a step in the road? And that's what I say when I mean, like, you can tell a lot by people's words. Like, the big goal, the vision, is still there. This is just a step on the road. Like, if I change my technique, I'm gonna be like, not gonna be like, oh, I need new motivation. Like, no. Like, that was a step to what my vision is. And I think that in swimming, we treat a lot of the things we do in the sport like this. You know, the end all be all, instead of it being a step towards what we're doing. And like, it's everywhere in swimming, right? Even with the way that they think about growing the sport, which, God, let me just, Jesus. But man, like, it's just frustrating, I guess, just coming from a different background. And it's like, you can see, maybe you can't, but like, if I'm thinking as a hooper and I look at our sports and our headlines and I say, that's dumb, this is frustrating to watch. Swim, swam. That's what you made our sport look like just now. Frustrating to watch or deal with, think about. But I don't know, man. It's just like the mentality of our athletes. It's toxic to what we want to accomplish. It's totally human and normal, but to what I think the people at the top of the sport and the people who are focused on the vision of the sport, yeah, the things we got going on are toxic to it. And it's thoughts like that. It's how you treat your superstars. It's how our superstars look at training, like even the technique stuff. Like, I don't look at technique as changing something. I look at it as I'm adding on to my game, right? Like if I'm in the NBA, right, I can't shoot. I can't shoot. I can shoot against you guys, but against people who hoop, I cannot. Let's say like hooped like collegiately, like structured hooping, D3, D2, whatever, right? I can't shoot with those guys. But gym pop, yeah. But I'm be like, okay, well, I need to get my game up with shooting. I'm already an elite rebounder. Okay, I can see the angles and the vectors and eat glass, right? But I know that I need to add shooting to my game. Whereas swimming looks at this like, oh, if I learn how to shoot, I'm not going to be able to rebound anymore. Oh, if I learn multiplication, I won't be able to do addition anymore. And it's just like, what is wrong with you, dog? One day. Or even like Doc Councilman about the rotation. I think that was him. If it was the Aussies, my bad. I forget who it was. But it's like, oh, if I do this, then I won't be able to crawl anymore. And most swimmers, especially like the young ones, have a large crawl element to their strokes for sprint freestyle. And like I said, especially the little ones who are moving, like the learn to swim. Your fastest learn to swimmers are always the ones who don't roll. Go peep game. But yeah, it's just like, I think as a sport, we need to change everything about how we think about everything. Like, we're not going to get what we want, which, you know, I think athletes should be paid, especially our pro athletes, but it's like the WNBA argument. Like, nobody watches it. How are you going to get money for it? Not by running headlines that frustrate your readers that are not within the sport. Not by looking at a 28-year-old, I hope she's 28, otherwise I look dumb right now, a 28 athlete who is your greatest female Olympic champion of all time and treating her like her times are a has-been, which it means has been good, right? Treating her like a has-been. So we got to do better. It don't make any sense to me why we treat, especially the Gretchen thing, or not Gretchen, Katie Ledecky thing. So in the comments, tell me about the Katie thing. Like, why do we look at swimming that way, right? Why are we shocked that she's dropping time? Like, I don't understand it. I know that her not dropping time is a result of her not training aggressively on the right things. She's not training smart she's training hard, but not training hard on the right thing, right? So it's only natural that she gets back there. She's going to get back there. She's too much of a winner to not. So I don't understand it. So in the comments, please let me know how you see it, like why it's a big deal for you as a swimmer, because I don't understand. So that's it, guys. Peace.